Big up, big up, big up, and welcome to Liverpool 12th Man Show. It is me and Lee. Definitely the dynamic duo, I'll call it. How about that? Scouts in the house, as always. So, not going to say, I'm not saying that Lee is my Robin. Maybe I'm his Robin, and I'm his Robin to his Batman, and vice versa. How about that? So that we both get the proper billing. Or do you want to be Batman and Superman? You can be like that. They're two duos, right? How about that? How about that? I'm not saying who's Batman and who's Superman. All right, I'm not saying that either. All right.
Okay. Depends which Batman it is. There's a couple of good ones. Some of them are rubbish, weren't they? As Batman.
Oh man, no, I don't want to be both Robin. No way. No way. Even though there are two Robins.
Who was that fella who played Robin in one of them? Chris something, when they had Robin in it with him.
Yeah. Oh, what was his name? He was in. I'll get it for you.
It was Chris something anyway. I can't remember who was Batman, but it wasn't a very good one, and I don't think it went. That's it, O'Donnell.
Good shout, right?
Yeah, it didn't go down well with the super with the Batman fans, I don't think.
Yeah. No, I'm not even dealing with the top half, bottom half comment. That's not being dealt with at all. But all right. No, it's all good. I'd rather be. I haven't seen the movie yet. I haven't seen my mom and my sister got to see the movie, and they told me that I possibly would enjoy it, but I haven't seen the new Superman. Actually, I do want to see that. Actually, I'm more of a. I will admit that I'm more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan, but I would say it's very close. It's like maybe like 60-40 Marvel over DC. It's not as definitive as you would think. And yeah, I'd be Mr. I think that I would be Mr. Terrific. I'd rather be Mr. Terrific now. How about that? So I'll put it that way.
Okay.
He's a character that I'm starting to get more into. So, anyways, before we go down the route, all right. So I don't have to look up Chris O'Donnell as he played the Robin to George Clooney's Batman, I believe. Right?
Yeah, I think it was George Clooney. Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie either, by the way. I heard decent things about it. It's tough to it's tough to remake a lot of those movies and do better than the original, by the way. I am going to get into our content. I do have one segment that's separate from our content. It kind of segues into it, but definitely separate. I have a little op-ed that I'm going to include. But the new Naked Gun film sounds like it does look like it's going to be a good one. Is it a bit jumpy? Okay, let me hold on 1 second.
Don't tell me Leslie Nielsen's still going, is he?
No.
I was going to say, it must be long gone. They were funny, them old ones, though. Like, quite funny anyway.
Hopefully that fixed it. Let me just double check and make sure my Red Armchair Support said that my audio is a little jumpy, so let me try to hopefully fix it. My audio has been messing with me lately. It's with Liam Neeson plays as Red Armchair Supporter said. Liam Neeson's in it, and Pamela Anderson took over for what's her name? Elvis Presley's old wife. Not old, but former wife. Anyhow, before we get too far into that as well, I'm sure since it looks like we got some OGs in the house, big up, Red Armchair Supporters, shout out to you. Red for Life, shout out to you as well. And those that are joining us, whether you're joining us on, whether you're joining us on X or whether you're joining us on YouTube, big up to each and every one of you. Appreciate the fact that you're just frequenting this channel at all. I know that It is going to be a fun one today because I have a quick little shout segment, okay? Before we get really in depth into what this episode is going to be about, because there was something that dropped this. I think it was today that he tweeted it. It might have been yesterday that he tweeted it, but it really picked up steam with some publications picking up the tweet, and this is by Mohamed Salah. And I happened to get triggered by seeing another content creator's interpretation of it. It wasn't his interpretation; it was his guest's interpretation of it. And I wasn't surprised by their interpretation of what Mohamed Salah had to say, because these two individuals, much like other individuals on our YouTube platforms and other platforms as well, tend to thrive off of this energy. But what it is that I wanted to talk about was this. You can all tell me how you feel and what you think about it as well, respectfully so, because I want to say this as respectfully as possible and as directly as I can. Hearing our Egyptian king, Mohamed Salah, speak out on something I think I've not just championed, but emphasized as a cornerstone of what Liverpool should stand for, what Liverpool's culture and the likes of it really do mean to me, at least, feels somewhat vindicating, because let's be clear, the vile attacks hurled at our own players while they are wearing our badge are reprehensible, period. And to kick them once they've walked out the door is like even more of an annoyance to me, at least, because players who have contributed to our success, who put silverware in our cabinet, I think it's just abhorrent to see when it's almost like it's not enough for you to have just allowed for them to finally have just gone on to whatever. They're no longer our team, you're still want to kick them all down. This week, Salah called out the disrespect head on. A fan account with over 500,000 followers, I believe it was called Anfield Edition. I want to make sure I get that right. Posted a graphic of Lucho Diaz and Darwin Nunez, alongside new signings Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak, with the caption, "Name a bigger upgrade in football in history." And Salah was not having it. He fired back with a simple but powerful truth, in my opinion. And that was, how about a crazy notion, all right? How about we celebrate the great signings with disrespecting the Premier League champions? Because that's what they are. Say what you want about Darwin Nunez. You can say what you want about Lucho. You can say what you want about Harvey Elliott. He wasn't a part of it, but I'm just saying you can say whatever you want about these players that have formerly played for our team and are no longer playing for our team now. But they are Premier League champions. Some twice, two times over. And when you really think about that, he didn't deny that Wirtz and Isak are massive additions. He didn't shy away from excitement over Liverpool's future. What he did do was remind us that respect isn't optional. Respect is cultural. And if our fan culture loses sight of that, then what exactly are we building? And again, I just emphasize this time and time again when I go up against the people that want to crap on all these players that we some love it and some don't so much. Let's not forget that Darwin Nunez helped us in cases where he saved the day for us. Let's not forget that Lucho Diaz has had marvelous games where he's either saved the game or even had incredible games that have projected us to wins. They bled for their shirt. They helped bring home the Premier League title last season. Were they perfect? No. But in football, perfection is a myth. Contribution is what matters. And those two gave us plenty. This is not the first time Salah has stood up for teammates. It's not. And it's sad that he has to. He's doing so because of that is the culture that lives outside of what I believe is this our Liverpool culture, but much less the YouTube Liverpool culture. He's defended Trent Alexander-Arnold when his loyalty was questioned. He's spoken out in the game itself, has failed players from UEFA controversies to global tragedies. Salah's voice carries weight because it comes from a place of both leadership, principle, and genuine, good-natured humility. So let me leave you with this because at some point I look same platforms as some of these other content creators, as your Monses and your Hussams and your Moes and the likes, your Tom Littles and such, When you support Liverpool, you don't just support the new signings or the current 11. You respect the lineage. You respect the contributions. You respect the people who wore that crest before. To celebrate the future while trashing the past isn't progress. It's hypocrisy. And if Mo Salah, the most iconic Liverpool player of our generation, is reminding us to balance excitement with respect, all I'm saying is that maybe we all need to take a hard look at how we engage with each other. Because what we say does matter, and our culture should always reflect the values of this club. Loyalty, respect, and togetherness is what I believe in when I speak of my fellow Reds and what I believe is Liverpool. So that's that. Rant over. You can check out some of that stuff yourself. That was just this is something that I did see that I had to get off my chest. It has nothing to do with what we're going to, or slightly had nothing to do with what we're going to be talking about. But I just wanted to say that because, look, I deal with it so often, and it's like, people want to go as far as to call you a top Red, or they want to go as far as to be like, oh, you're player FC, or this. It's nothing to do with the sort. It's more so I just respect the players that carry the badge, that represent us on that pitch. And whether it's a current member, whether it's a soon-to-be signed member, or whether it's a former member, I have respect for all the members that have put together this history that we can call our own. So that's why I say it like that. Lee, we are going to speak about what are we going to do with this Isak situation? We've signed 2 top-class strikers in the same window. Liverpool are throwing things back to the 90s, I would say, right? It goes far as to say the 90s, right? Back when we were playing with back when we sometimes would go out on the pitch with a 4-4-2, maybe?
Yeah. We've got plenty on the bench now, haven't we? We've got a really strong striker on the bench, whichever one of them plays. And, we've got Szoboszlai to stand in for Wirtz. We've got Rio to stand in for Gakpo. We've got Chiesa to stand in for Salah if needed. We've got a lot of subs there on the bench, haven't we? Just think of them 4 to start with.
Yeah.
And then all the others as well. It's looking really good, isn't it? We've got a really strong bench. So if we need to win games with substitutions, which we will at times, games will be very tight. We can do that now because we've got the weapons on the bench. Yeah. I originally was going to say let's take it back to the 4-4-2, but we're going to get into all the different ways we can play this out. I believe I might even have some graphics that I can utilize to help emphasize some of them as well. But yeah, let me see, make sure. But I think the difference I think we could, or at least should, see is that this 4-2-3-1 that we play currently could be adapted into something new for us.
That's where it's going to be very unique as to see what we do going forward on how we get these players minutes and how we keep these players happy and how we get these players in a solidified form of being able to contribute towards our success. We don't want to have to weigh on hopefully having individual moments of brilliance. We want to have a fluid movement of offense and defense together. So going forward, it would often transition into, I think when I say a 4-4-2 people, and this is just my interpretation, this is, again, some of this is just my interpretations, and that is I would see it as a 4-4-2 that is a hybrid 4-4-2. And again, what I mean by a hybrid 4-4-2 is that it's like maybe even called a Dutch 4-4-2, in that it would be a 4-4-2 that transitions into a 4-2-4 and then kind of sways back and forth between the two, depending on whether you're going forward or we're defending. But there are other ideas and concepts on the table too, and we're going to talk about some of those in this episode. We're going to break them down for you. Where should Isak, Alexander the Great play for this system? Which system do you prefer out there, by the way? We're going to ask that question. And which one do I think, or I believe at least, Arne Slot, and which one you believe Arne Slot will settle on as Liverpool's identity going forward? That's a real big question. But Liverpool have agreed to this mammoth deal of 125 million pounds for the Newcastle's former striker Alexander Isak, smashing our transfer record and the British transfer record, and making him the jewel of what has become a 400 million plus summer. He'll join the front line of Ekitike, Salah, Wirtz. You could even put in Chiesa into that mix, or maybe even a Rio. But here's the problem. Slot has all of these great players, and he has just a few positions to solve. As he's got all these great players, but there's only a couple issues. You can't play them all. So I'm going to talk about this 4-2-4, and then I'm going to get into what you believe. I'm going to get. I'll definitely get in. Wagwan Antoine in the house. Wagwan. I'm going to get into what Lee thinks. We might be joined by others on the panel, but for now, again, you got to deal with Superman and Mr. Terrific here. How about that? There you go. I told you Superman. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. I'm not trying to take the headline.
The Man of Steel.
There you go. There you go. Liverpool's Man of Steel. Actually, you know what's funny, real quick, before I even get into it? Do you know that they're filming, I think, the new Batman in Liverpool? That's what I heard.
Yeah, Liverpool's got quite a few filmable parts that would look okay in films. There's a lot of nice buildings in Liverpool that can be filmed. It's a much nicer looking city than Manchester. Manchester's an ugly city architecturally.
Yeah, apparently Liverpool is going to be the new Gotham City, by the way. That's the article I read. They're filming it now. This Clayface or something like that, or is the new?
I enjoyed the one with Danny DeVito's The Penguin. That was a really good one. I remember when Burgess Meredith was the Penguin in the TV series. Mickey from Rocky, the old guy. Yeah, he used to be the Penguin in the TV series. They were good.
A lot of those guys were very big actors, by the way, too. Despite playing obviously comic book heroes, they were still very big theater actors and the such. But let's get into this, people. First up, the dream partnership scenario, at least in my perspective, would be to just have Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike together up top. This will be a Liverpool in a 4-2-4, something we actually resembled a lot in possession last season. Now, the appeal is obvious. You've got two dynamic strikers who can both score, both link play, both stretch defenses. Excuse me. But the movement would have to be spot on. One drops in, the other spins in behind. That's called counter movement, if you guys are into the tactical jargon. And it's the key to this whole thing. Luckily, both Isak and Ekitike, I think, are exceptional exceptional forwards. So I think it won't be hard for them to change and adapt to whatever role they have to do. But here's a problem. Both of these lads like to drift left. Not good. You don't want to put too many of the players drifting left. That's not natural for them. It's where they're comfortable, I understand, but if they both do it at the same time, it can create an imbalance. And that's where Florian Wirtz would become even more crucial because he likes to sometimes gravitate out left. Because he'd start on the left, but drift into the half space, acting as a playmaker. Then you have Milos Kerkez overlapping from left back to hold the width. On the other side, you'd have obviously Salah and Frimpong basically doing the same thing, where Salah can tuck inside, Frimpong can bomb forward, and suddenly the right side becomes just as dangerous. If that all clicks, we're talking about a terrific front four. The risk, you only have two midfielders. So let's say McAllister and Szoboszlai, or let's say McAllister and Graf, with a lot of work to do defensively, and that's the trade-off. I'm going to show you what a 4-2-4 would even look like, or a 4-4-2-4 would even look like as well. Let me see if I can get it there. Let me add this to the screen here. So you can have like some type of visual for it as well. I'll give you an idea. This is put together here. All right. So this is what a 4-2-4 would look like, basically. This has got Grav in it. It depends on whether you prefer Szoboszlai or Grav. If you're going to do a 4-2-4, Lee, hypothetically, because we're going to do a couple different variations of this. And again, you guys can like play along with the formations, play along with what you think is a really accurate perception of what we should do with some of these different formations. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go through a few of them. So don't get like hamstrung on like, oh, it can't be this or it can't be that. Let's just like keep an open mind. Let's just discuss. We're all talking. But this is a 4-2-4 basically. And if you don't recognize what a 4-2-4 is, which Hyler is asking, we've played 4-2-4 a couple of times last year, primarily when we were down and trying to chase after a game is where we played a 4-2-4. Basically, we had two men in the middle, and then we had a front of four forwards in the front line.
I like that lineup because it's fluid, because Wirtz can drift back into the centre and one of them two forwards can drift out to the left. There's moving parts there, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
That could be quite good. If we ever did try it, if we sort of like noticeably lined up with a 4-4-2 to start, and with both the strikers playing, that'd be really interesting. I think we will see it at some point. At some point we'll see it.
Okay. If that was would this be your lineup if you were to? What would be your lineup if you were to go to 4-2-4?
Yeah, this would be it. I would say because you couldn't keep Wirtz out, and the whole point of doing it would be to play the two strikers, presumably Mo, McAllister, Gravenberch. You couldn't leave any of them out, and obviously you need the defenders and the keeper. So that would be it. Yeah, if it was to pick a 4-4-2, that was meant to be like sort of semi-rigid, but there was a bit of changing round between the left and up front. That'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, like to see it.
Would it be necessary? So McAllister's in this lineup, Gravenberch's in this lineup, but would you maybe switch it up to? I think McAllister in this lineup works better than Adama Szoboszlai, only because McAllister's more of a facilitator, creator, and he's even actually, he might not be as quick or as mobile as Szoboszlai, but he does have football IQ to be able to understand the spacing and also be able to defend pretty well. He defends, I think McAllister is a good defender. Grav on the same retribute would be someone that does have athleticism, is able to do a lot of the running and doing a lot of the legwork. But what would be your two in the middle then? And you guys can tell me how you would switch this up. We're going to look at how we all would change and adjust, or if not, just give a thumbs up if you like it, on these different ideas of a formation. Mac doesn't have the legs. I agree, Mark A. That's kind of why I'm like slightly on the fence. I actually would. It depends on where, like how many times you have to like see Maka go forward. Is he going to be the person that's just more, again, a facilitator, maybe more of a regista when it comes to the DM role? And it's just more of like the guy that you give it to, but he's passing, doing the diagonals and such, rather than trying to get involved and progress the ball forward with his own legs. Grav and Szoboszlai could be a shout, though, then. Grav and Szoboszlai could be a shout. And that's why I'm asking you, Lee, what would you do? And Mark, yeah, you can tell me what if you're doing a 4-2-4, what would be your 4-2-4? Maybe you have Bradley in this game. Maybe get crazy and put a Robbo in it. I don't know. That's a joke. I know not many people are putting Robbo in this lineup. I understand that, but what would you do, Lee? Anything different?
Not for the 4-2-4, really. I mean, I wouldn't mind the idea of maybe Endo playing with Gravenberch, but I wouldn't drop Mac to do that. But, if we're going to have four up top, to have one destroyer, DM, whatever, at least, like, to help Gravenberch. I don't know. I think that'd be the best one, though, if we picked a 4. Next time out to start against Burnley, I'd pick that 11, definitely.
And I do understand that. Grav is, so he would have Grav and Dom in that. I'd like the Grav and Dom midfield too, by the way. It's our most athletic midfield that we can think of when it comes to, because a lot of the thinking about the two being in the midfield, they're going to do a lot of legwork. They're going to have to be they're going to be actively mobile and actively able to go forward and go back as well, and tracking back and doing a lot of that back and forth takes a toll on you if you're not that fast or not that quick with pace. But certainly if you're the only two in the midfield that are going to be doing it. Let's see what I see in every match and in training, pass the opponent to death, so that with a wider spread between any member of the team, it will be harder to reach them with a pass if they don't work back. Outside shout of Curtis Jones. That's an outside shout. How about Curtis Jones joining this lineup?
Possibly. Could do.
You can't lose the ball carelessly in this system. You can't. You definitely.
The thing with this system is it can easily change back into a 4-3-3 with Gravenberch in the middle and one of the strikers pulling out wide, can't it?
Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, a lot of these formations, it's very similar to why I said my version of it is a hybrid version of it. You might be looking at 4-2-4, but it might start off as a 4-4-2. You might see something where the 4-4-2 allows for you to have a box defense when it comes to defending, and then when you get out of that defense, or when you get a turnover or something along those lines, the two wings can press out, and then you'd have two strikers in the middle that are your options to strike with, going into a 4-2-4. But I like that outside shout for Curtis Jones. Someone with ball retention. You can't lose the ball carelessly in the system, Marquez says. Ant says he'd play the same way. He says 4-2-4, but he dropped Grav for Dom. Okay. Dom's range of passing is better than Grav's. Okay. Mark is also saying, I do have an issue as both Isak and Ekitike prefer to drift to the left, so there could be a clash. I agree with that. I don't want both of them creating a channel that teams can counter into, and basically, and then for them to be kind of cluttering their own channels by being in the same positioning, that could be an issue. Could be certainly an issue. All right. Well, then we could just do what we think, what some of you might seriously just think. Lee Wiskis is saying, seriously though, for now we need our two strikers to be interchangeable, not simultaneous, in his opinion. Chiesa dropped from Champions League group games. Why is Chiesa dropped from Champions League group games? That's not good. Not good for someone that's finally looking like they're getting a foothold in the rotation, to be dropped from the group games. I'd like to. I'd have to look. I haven't seen what the team is for our group games just yet. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let's see. Okay, I see that. Okay, I see that it is a big name. That is a big name to be leaving out. It looks like. Oh man. It looks like. All right, I'll do a deeper dive on this for you guys out there. I'll do a deeper dive on this after the show. I'll do some research on this, but I am seeing that it looks like Chiesa will be the player that will not be traveling with our Champions League squad, and it looks like Rio will be chosen to be. Looks like Rio will be selected instead of Chiesa.
Yeah, that's true. Chiesa isn't in the squad for the Champions League games, which I'm sure will be a bit of a blow to him. But he's going to have to cope with it. We're going to have to find minutes for him elsewhere. The thing is, with Isak just coming in, he's not going to get them sub-appearances for Hugo that he's had 3 times so far, going through the middle. It really, the person in Mo's way from here on out is Salah. I mean, he could be used on the left occasionally as an option. He can play right across the front, but I can't see him playing much through the middle now. You know, the way he's come on in these 3 games for Hugo at different points.
You're not going to like, you might not like the reason why Chiesa isn't going to be eligible to play. But one of the major reasons, and I'll do a deeper dive into this, but teams are only permitted to name a maximum of 17 non-homegrown players on their A list. Like there'll be a B list. Chiesa will be on the B list, but on their A list, at least I believe Chiesa will be on the B list. But on the A list, you're only allowed to have 17 non-homegrown players, and Rio takes up one of those spots due to his age. Now most people will be like, well, wait a minute, he's homegrown. He plays for the English national, national or under 21 national team. Or I think he's under national. I think he was playing for the U17s at one point, but like the U21s, right? He shouldn't take up a non-homegrown spot. Well, unfortunately, homegrown players must have trained at an English club for at least 3 years between the ages of 15 and 21. But Rio was too young to be considered a homegrown player. So Slot choosing him took up a spot that he could have given to Chiesa, but because he has to fill now, because he's in the U19, that's right. Thank you, AR. Because he's under, because he doesn't qualify for that, he takes up a non-homegrown player spot on the list, and that could have been Chiesa's. That most likely would have been Chiesa's, but because he wants to include Rio, it doesn't happen. But anyway, I'll get back into it. I'll try to do my best to bring that up either tomorrow or the likes. No, apparently you can't register any number of U21s. Apparently, you cannot. Because Trey Neone is not part of the A list either. He's going to be part of the B list, but he's not part of the A list, for instance. So there could be some. This is very interesting. Very interesting. Bishetic obviously isn't going to make the list. Calvin Ramsey, Reese Williams don't make it. Shout out to Freddie Woodman. I know that there were some people out there that were like super big on Freddie Woodman. Definitely. Because he's been included in the list, by the way. Freddie Woodman's been included as the third goalkeeper for us. But yeah, it should be interesting. What I think was very interesting too is N was listed as a defender, not a midfielder, by the way. Very interesting. He was listed as a defender, not a midfielder when put onto the list. But let's get back to what we're talking about at hand before we get too far off topic. We could go with a lone striker. Let me see if I have a graphic for that. Let me see. We could go with a lone striker. Yes, I do have a lone striker option. This is the lone striker option. This one is what I believe is more realistic. This is the one that that spoiler alert, I think will be the actual formation that we go with, despite the fact that I would prefer to see us go with 4-2-4/4-4-2. This has been our bread and butter, obviously. We've seen this transition into a 4-3-3 and a 4-2-4 or a 4-4-2. It's 4-2-3-1 has been very, very on the flow, amoeba-like, as I like to say. I've coined that like 3-4 years ago with Klopp, but very amoeba-like when it comes to the formation. But in this one, this is how Isak is our focal point. He's obviously for 125 million pounds. You're probably not going to have him on the bench, not when we're spending the money. And he's the outright number 9. He stays central, leads the line, becomes the reference point for everything. Behind him is Florian Wirtz, drifts left, but has the freedom to act as a playmaker. He's not going to hug the touchline. He's just going to kind of gravitate between those the left and right channels in the middle there. He's going to float into spaces, combine with Isak, obviously, dictate tempo. On the right, we have our talisman Mo Salah, who we don't even need to over-explain. He cuts inside, he scores goals, he creates havoc, he creates assists. And then there's Ekitike. Now, some people might have Cody on this spot, because I get it. In this system, he would essentially take over what used to be the Cody Hakpo, or even the now departed from the team, Lucho role. The inside forward starting on the left, driving inside to shoot or link play. He's not a traditional winger, but that's fine. Liverpool have always thrived with wide forwards who like to play more of the inside forward role. The setup is balanced. It protects the midfield with two deeper players. I know that some are going to definitely have issue with me putting Hugo on the left. I get that. But again, it's a conversation, people. Not it's just a conversation. Again, by having two deeper players, say McAllister and Dom, or Dom and Grav, or maybe Grav and Dom, it allows Isak to be more undisputed with his spearhead to our team. What is your feeling on this, Mr. Clark, Mr. Clark Kent? Should Liverpool, Mr. Scouse Kent, how about that? Mr. Liverpool, should we prioritize fitting in both strikers, or should we do this, which is basically, or should we do something where Cody is going to be on the left, and now Ekitike has just got to be the supplemental striker off the bench? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's what I want it to be like. I want it to be like, one or the other, and then one comes on for the other in the main. I want us to keep the formation that we've had. We can change it around sometimes, but I prefer us to, chop and change a little bit. Like, whoever's in the best form, whoever's doing what he wants, gets the nod. That's what I want to see now.
And I get that, but unfortunately, do you really think that's going to happen? I'm just being honest with you, because our coach tends to just play the same lineup in and out of every game for the most part. I would love to say go with whoever's got the hot hand. I would love to say that. And I like Cody. Don't let me salute my agent Cody. Don't get it twisted. This is not an indictment on Cody not being a suitable option for us on the left. It's why we're having this conversation. I'm asking, how does seeing this lineup feel? All these lineups, again, will be able to be fluid and be interchangeable, and you'll see players that holding spots and positions on the pitch that might seem a little bit out of place for you, but it works all the same. But what is Ekitike an option, or does it have to be Cody? That's my question to you, Lee.
I prefer Cozy, but it can be either of them. They can both play that position, I'm sure. And Isak can play off the left, can't he? To be honest, we've got a lot of options, within all that. So it's looking good, whatever we do. I know that much.
Okay. Yeah, Cody will play his part. I'm not saying that Cody's going to be a forgotten player or something along those lines. I'm just offering options, I guess you could call it. I'm just offering some different selections to how we might line up in this team, because there are some options out there. Let's see if I can put in some of these other options. Big up, CJ. Welcome to the show. There is a little bit of a different take you can make, maybe. Let me pull this one up for you. Let me make sure I have it correct, though. This one is very unique. Very, very unique. All right. Again, it's just conversation, not anything written in stone. Okay. All right. Let me make sure I have that. And then All right. Here is another one that I was thinking of. I have this one. I don't have a graphic for it, so I'll just show you via um, via lineup builder or buildlineup.com. All right, make sure I have the back line ready. So there is an option that could be Isak out wide, or it could be also an option that has Ekitike out wide. And if you were to go with that, it would look something like this. I'm gonna bring this. It is full screen pretty much. Um, and this would be now. I know that people are gonna be like, "There's no way Endo will start." I get that. I get it. I get it. Don't tell that to Nalante though, because Nalante has been advocating that Endo should get a start here and there, and I could be for that. But it's something a little different with Isak. Either you can have Ekitike or Isak drifting wide. The 9 is a little bit more of like a false 9, but it still progresses forward. The 2 wings are going to be Salah and Ekitike. I know you're going to be like, hold on, why are you putting 125 million pound striker out wide? Okay. Or even an 80 million pound striker out wide. Okay. I get that. But let's not forget Newcastle, Isak showed flashes of brilliance when he played into those channels. He even delivered on one of those incredible assists before to deliver an incredible pass for a goal. In a fluid system, you can start Isak central, but also allow him to drift left when the situation calls for it. When he does, Ekitike can slip inside and take up the central striker role. So what I mean by that is, even though you see Ekitike and Isak like this, they would still be interchangeable in the sense of sometimes Isak will be out left, sometimes Isak will be in the middle, or vice versa with Ekitike. He'll be out left, and sometimes he'll be in the middle. When he does, like I said, he could take up the center striker role. Suddenly you've got defenders scrambling on because it's difficult to mark those players now all of a sudden because you might have one player distinguishedly set to mark a certain player all game, but now all of a sudden you're taking that player from a center role to a left striker role or a left wide out role. And it does make a difference. So the advantage is overloading one side. You can already imagine Kirkaz overlapping, Wirtz cutting in, Isak drifting out wide to combine. Left-hand side would be unplayable at times. Very different from a lot of our mindsets because we've always had a more right-sided attack when it comes to our team. But the risk is obvious. You're pulling your striker away from the most dangerous areas. Sometimes to unlock a defense, you need unpredictability. This is definitely that. Would you want to see Isak experiment wide, or is it a given that he's just going to play centrally for you?
Isak. Do you mean or Ekitike?
Yeah. Or no, I'm talking about Isak or Ekitike.
Yeah, I see the pair of them mostly playing central. But as I said earlier, they can play. We can have a 3-4-3 that can turn into a 4-4-2 quickly, can't we? With Wirtz and one of those two in the centre, swapping places, sort of thing. So yeah, it will be mainly through the centre that I expect to see them.
I just put a little message in there to Tom. Big up Tom, by the way. So, I mean, like, it is an experimentation. I understand that. something that some people might not want to see. I see Tom showed up and he doesn't even see Cody on the doesn't even see Cody on the list here, and he's like, "What the heck is going on?" All right, how about this then? How about this? Here's another fascinating scenario. Florian Wirtz out wide. So let's just the numbers don't pay attention to the numbers. They're just it's 1 to 11. It's there's no it doesn't have anything to do with their actual kit numbers. But what it would look like is oh, my fault. And then what it would be is Isak would go back to his original 9. You can put Dom in the 10. You'd have a more defensive-minded midfield pivot. That includes McAllister and Endo. Frimpong, kind of not that. Okay, so here's another fascinating intro to something. Play Florian Wirtz out left. Now, this isn't making him a traditional winger. I'm not saying that at all. It's about creating balance. If Wirtz plays from the left and Salah stays on the right, you suddenly have two of our most creative hubs on either side of Isak. That's double the playmaking if you want to look at it that way, double the headaches for defenders if you want to see it that way too. In this system, Isak is still the lone number 9. He just gets service from both sides, whether it's Salah's cutting inside or Wirtz cutting inside, and both are capable of threading the final ball or going for goal themselves, which will keep defenses honest. It's essential, though, two number 10s, in essence, playing from the wings. Some might be like, no, Salah's not a number 10. We get it. He also was the leading assist getter last year. So even though he's not a number 10, he's certainly delivering like one. I guess the downside is Ekitike drops off of that list. And he becomes an impact sub or the second striker option off the bench. Which begs the question, can you really spend £69 million on a player to have him rotate in and out? And that's why it's going to be a very interesting question of where and how we create some real balance to our team minutes for players. This could easily, with the McAllister Endo background, pivot, you're creating a more defensively structured midfield that are going to stay more anchored towards that midfield. They're not going to venture too far forward. They're not going to venture too far back and create too many gaps. But even if you weren't to do that, you can do something like this. I wouldn't put the also there, obviously. You maybe have Jones there. Grab and Jones you could have, or maybe you can maybe even go with a McAllister. Grab and McAllister being the choices in the midfield. Would you sacrifice Ekitike starting spot for one of these players, Lee?
Not currently, no. I'd have him on the bench.
You would put Ekitike on the bench.
Yeah. Right now, I would, yeah.
Wow. He's 3 for 4, 3 out of 4 on scoring in games, and you're like, how's that?
I know. That's the position we're in now. We're in a really good position, aren't we, where we can do that? And this is a great thing that we can pick between great players.
Doesn't that go kind of against what you said though about playing the player that's got the hot hand? Ekitike's got certainly the hot hand. Hylor's asking, when everyone is fit, who will start at right back, do you think? Who do you think?
What, against Burnley, what do you mean? It was
No,
against Burnley.
Just in general.
Frimpong.
Frimpong's your guy?
Yeah.
Trying to see. Red for Life is saying, how about Grav and Dom as the double pivot? Okay, so you put Grav and Dom as your double pivot. Wirtz as your 10. Salah and Hugo on the wings. I had that one already. I did already have that one. Or had one similar, at least, to it. I had to look right, sort of like this one. That's kind of like what it was. This substitute McAllister for Dom, and then you have that. But you go Frimpong, huh? Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I like what Frimpong brings, and I like the fact that Frimpong is rapid. I didn't think he was that rapid until I saw him in person and saw him actively in person so often. But I still would go Bradley. I'd go with what Lee says. Hyler saying Bradley is third choice these days. I don't believe he's third choice, but I just think that he's just working his way back from injury. Let's see. Tom is saying, let's be honest, Isak is always starting. We don't chase him down for months to sit him. Yes, it's tough on the Ekitike, but that's football. He'll get plenty of game time. Okay. Hyler says, come on, Dom might be the best right back in the world right now. I'm sorry. Oh, there's no worries, right for life. No worries. Realism Jared says he would start Frimpong as well, like you said, Lee. I always understand that, like as in he says, right arm Jared supporter says that that term that I've heard quite a bit. It's a nice headache to have, basically. A nice headache to have. Okay. I get it. I definitely get it. I still think we will go, or not we will, but I think preferably if it was to me, we would go with the 4-4-2. Sounds weird. Sounds maybe even outdated because not many teams do 4-4-2s these days. It would look similar when people ask about what it would look like or how we like. Oh, that we don't play that kind of role. Blah 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 blah. It would look very similar to what we brought up against Manchester City in that Etihad game. Now, albeit we had 2 10s in that role with Dom and Curtis Jones, but how lethal would that attack look if we had, rather than Dom and Jones in as our 2-10 options, we had Ekitike and Isak as our 2-9 options. You agree? You agree, Lee?
Yeah.
What was your favorite 4-4-2 formation of yesteryear?
It was probably the one with Barnes, Beardsley, Aldridge, and Houghton. We had Whelan and McMahon in the centre. We had a great defence. That was a really great 4-4-2, that one. Probably the most memorable one,
What was there like a particular game that makes that formation stand out to you, or is it like?
No, just in general, like while we had it, that was just a great fun. We've had loads of others as well over the years. That was just a really good one, that.
Lee is saying Kenny and Ian as the 2 would be ideal, meaning like the 4 being the 4-4-2. Dustin says he misses a standard 4-4-2. He'd like to see some teams playing it. We don't. 4-4-2 has definitely been phased out immensely for 4-3-3s and 4-2-3-1s now. You don't really see too often a 2-striker formation. Have you noticed that, Lee?
Yeah, you don't see it a lot now, like, do you? It's sort of been phased out a bit, like, just the idea of having 2 strikers in the middle. It's okay having one and one off them, like, but having them both together, you don't see it that much these days.
Yeah. Shout out to my guy Nalante. Big up. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, big up 12th. Yeah, we're welcome. Big up Lee, Scousely. How you doing, Lee? All good. And big up the panel as always. The names in the chat. Like, share, and subscribe. I keep telling you guys, tell a friend. Let's get this show where it needs to go. Big up everyone.
Ekitike is way better than Cody taking on and passing players. Ooh. Okay. I don't know about that one. I think they're very similar. I think Cody and Ekitike are very similar with their ability to dribble, take on players, and the likes. Maybe because their frames in my mind create a certain image of how they approach their offense. Realism Jarrett says 4-4-2 with Grav, Mac, and Dom and Wirtz on top of the diamond with Ekitike and Isak. But it doesn't create any room for Salah. Okay, all right. Even when it was that Kenny and Rush, Kenny played more as a 10 support striker, feeding Rush. That's very true. Very, very true. We have Ekitike and Isak. How is that even legal? We've been going through a couple of different scenarios, a lot of different scenarios actually. I think we've gone through I'm trying to think of all the scenarios that we've gone through. We've gone with a 4-2-4 where it's like a partnership up front. We've gone through a 4-2-3-1, which is more of what we know now, but we have it as just a single player at the top. We've gone with a Isak out wide. We've gone out with Isak out wide. We've gone with Ekitike out wide. We've gone with Florian Wirtz out wide. Out wide left, that is. We've gone with what I like and what I would suggest if it was my team to suggest, and that would be going with a 4-4-2. And being a 4-4-2 that I call it a hybrid 4-4-2 because it's a 4-4-2 that transitions into a 4-2-4 when going forward and then a 4-4-2 when defending type situation. I asked Lee what was his favorite 90s, or not say 90s, but his favorite Liverpool 4-4-2 formation. His favorite Liverpool team that's played with 4-4-2. Do you have one by any chance, Nolante?
I mean, in the history of Liverpool 4-4-2 teams, yeah, for Liverpool.
Yeah. Because I mean, this 4-4-2 is something that we play with quite a bit for a good session of the eras.
Yeah. Until football changed. Yeah. Until
exactly.
Change. I'm gonna go one off field. I'm gonna go the one where we had 95-96 when we had Collymore foul up front. Barnes ran up in the middle. Yeah, that was what. Yeah, for a while, but then we changed it.
Oh, you're breaking up. I don't know if that's just me that can't hear you, but you are breaking up. We heard Barnes.
5-2, so I like that combo.
All I heard was Barnes in the middle, and then you came back.
Yeah, sorry, just traveling back. Barnes, sometimes Redknapp or Michael Thomas, even in the middle. Yeah, Maka on there on the right. So yeah, that's one of my. Yeah, I think that's one of my friends. I did like that team. To be fair, we just didn't. The team didn't fulfill what it's supposed to do. That's the thing, and then we changed that to 3-5-2.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Owen and Fowler, if only Fowler was fit. Okay, Real Jarrett is saying. Red for Life is stating statement/question. Slot seemed to really admire PSG last season. Do you think we have a more interchangeable front line with our new signings? I think it's exactly why we are talking the way we're talking, Red for Life, to be honest with you. I think the fluidity does exist with our team in that we are more left. What is very interesting is we're more left-sided than we are right-sided in our attack this year, I think. Obviously, Salah is still the one of our cornerstones in our offense. I'm not saying he's not, and I'm not saying he won't be. But what I am saying is when you do look at the players that we do have in our front line, a good number of them tend to like to drift out left as opposed to players that would prefer to be on the right. So that should be an interesting transition from with how our build-up plays goes and how we try to, and where we try to infiltrate our attack from. I think a lot more is going to be infiltrated from our left side than our right. And it could be the reason why you've seen some of the numbers for Mohamed Salah dip a little bit in the last couple of games. You know, it's just the honest to goodness truth. If he's not going to get 50, 60 touches and he's going to be more like 20, 30 touches, then all of a sudden the opportunities that he's had before drop dramatically. And now all of a sudden you have to decide where or how to get those other numbers for him. And it's not all about trying to get Salah fed, obviously. I mean, as long as we win, who cares who gets the numbers? But what would have been your I will say this. Let me I do have a picture. I saw this picture. This is the CEO of FSG, John W., seen apparently as everyone parties thinking about football world domination, I guess. Or something.
Can at least smile, God damn it. I mean, he's rude his weekend. Did Linda not give him the goods? Did Linda not give him the goods or something? I mean, jeez.
Everyone else is having a good time around him, and he's just sitting there going, ooh, like Dr. Evil or something.
I don't know, it's like a wet bag. I mean, God, I'll tell you, if I do parties, ain't finding JW Henry round, he'll just spoil the mood. I mean, geez, what? Linda upset him? What? Linda didn't give him the je ne sais quoi. I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, come on, Jay.
Maybe he's thinking
Celebrate.
He's thinking about how much money he's spent so far, but
Yeah.
but
And the millions he's got, but
yeah, big spender. But yes, big spender is exactly it. These are some of the numbers that we've seen in since 2016, 2017. These are the numbers we've seen be the high figures or high transfer numbers that have been on the radar. What's very interesting is now we top the list with both Isak and Wirtz, followed by Chelsea with the Caicedo and Fernandez deal. Arsenal in at number 5 with Declan Rice. City, in with Grealish. Chelsea comes storming back with Lukaku. I believe that's probably for Lukaku, right? Or is it Manchester United's money for Lukaku? I'm not certain. I think that's Chelsea's purchase of Lukaku.
Chelsea's, not United's. Chelsea's.
Paul Pogba, Manchester United's purchase. I don't know if that's the first or second time, but most likely the first. Then you have Lukaku again. And then you have, obviously, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Chelsea's finest, Modric. Oh, somewhat of a lost name, right? He's somewhat of a lost name, isn't he? Wouldn't you agree? Modric is somewhat of a lost name nowadays, Lee?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of players that were getting minutes over him that made him into somewhat of a lost cause when it came to that side of the pitch. I don't think he was getting that many minutes. I'd double check now how many games he actually got in. I don't think he played that often. Let's see. He was let's go with that's Champions League. Premier League. Okay, yeah. He played in 31 games, but only started 18 in 2023, 2024. But then in 2024, 2025, he's played. That was last year. He hasn't played this year, I guess, because in 2024, 2025, he played 7 Premier League games and 1 start. That can't be right. Is that correct? You guys with me?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's right or wrong.
Can you imagine that? I mean, that's 2024, 2025. I don't think he's played at all this season. I don't think he's played at all this season. But in 2024, 2025, in the Prem, this is just the Prem, he played in 7 games. Started 1 game and played in 7. This is a player that Chelsea spent £88.5 million on. And he got 1 start in 7 games last year. Jeez. Wow. Okay. That is pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Let me see what was for the 1 transfer. first one was the 90 million pounds. Apparently, was for Manchester United, and then the other one was for the 97.5 was for the Chelsea transfer when it comes to Lukaku. Interesting, very interesting. Have you seen Manchester United's top 5 most expensive transfers through history? I have not seen that list just yet, but I'm sure it's pretty. I've seen Manchester City's top 5, but I haven't seen Manchester United's. I have not seen that. I would probably say it's pretty sad looking, to be honest with you, because it probably includes Harry Maguire's probably one of them. Anthony's probably one of them. So you got a center half that doesn't see the light of day pretty much, other than in reserve roles nowadays. Player that's been stripped of his captaincy. You have Anthony, who's no longer even with the team. You have Paul Pogba, that's no longer with the team. You have probably, I would think Jadon Sancho is probably a part of that list. Who's number 5? Lukaku, maybe? Maybe it's Lukaku.
Don't know. It's interesting, like, but I don't know who's like top of the list or anything.
I'll tell you something wild. Since I'll have to check out that article, but can you tell me how much money Manchester United have spent on players since Sir Alex Ferguson retired in 2013?
It's got to be a lot of money by now. God, I don't think I could even guess what it is in all since Fergie left.
Right around. I'm not saying it has to be right on the spot.
I don't know. I can't guess it.
Red Armchair Supporter is pretty much spot on.
2 billion. Yeah, I knew it was a lot. I didn't know it was that much.
Yeah, Manchester United have spent nearly $2 billion on 74 players since Sir Alex has retired in 2013. They spent nearly $2 billion. And still, I don't know if that includes Sesko or not. But yeah, sometimes it's not all about what you spend, it's about how you spend it. Because I think a lot of us would argue that it has been a really miserable existence for them. 2 billion pounds. 2 billion pounds. If I said dollars, I apologize, but 2 billion pounds is what they've spent. Pretty crazy.
A lot, that, isn't it?
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for...
A lot of money for nothing, isn't it? Like, considering they've won bugger all, like, since he left.
It's like, it's kind of like you might as well just take a stack of money, light it, and light your cigars with it. Because that's what you're doing. Oh my goodness, burning money. If you were going to put together a squad in Alante, what would be you would be happy to see that some of the squads I actually offered up included Endo starting, by the way, But for yourself, who would you have as an Isak starting lineup? It doesn't have to be for Burnley. Doesn't have to be just for Burnley. I mean, just in general, who is going to be your default lineup when it comes to Liverpool?
Okay, so that's with Isak 100% playing, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Isak playing, yes. There's no way Isak is not starting.
Oh, yeah. So the squad we got now, who would be my starting lineup?
Yeah.
It's a tricky one, actually. It's Ali in goal, of course.
Here, I'll even, if you want, I can put it together for you so we can see.
Assuming.
Hold on. All right, go ahead. So Ali in goal.
Is this assuming every?
Yeah, this is assuming that everyone is fit. Yes, everyone is fit.
Okay, well, okay, cool. So right back, Bradley,
bring back
DVD and Gomez.
Joking.
Yeah.
No, we can all dream.
So Ali.
Yeah. Ali and goal. Got you.
So go ahead. Yeah. So this is everyone fit. Obviously fit for me. Bradley, VVD, Joey.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start. Kirkes. The middle is the difficult. You know what? You gotta go grab Mac. Wirtz. Yeah, as you said.
Hold on. Grab.
Okay.
Okay. What's your back line? I'm trying to put together what you speak it. That's why.
Yeah.
Kirkhead, you have obviously VVD, and who's to the right of him?
No, I said Bradley and Joey.
Oh, so you have Joey as.
Yeah.
As okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'll support Bradley and Joey. It's
taking it back to 2019 or something. All right, I got you.
Yeah. He's fit. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. This is your opinion.
My opinion.
All right. So then Grab and McAllister in the pivot. Then who's in the 10?
So give me a second. Sorry.
Okay.
That's all right.
Injury update. Konate has avoided injury after being forced off in Sunday's 1-0 win over Arsenal, with the center back now expected to play for France this weekend. I don't really like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he's not injured, but I don't really like the fact that if he was close to getting injured, take the extra time to get nurse whatever it was back into proper health.
12.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So now we're just into what's your front forward diamond here?
Yeah, I'll stick with the three you got. I'll stick with that. The three in midfield, and then the top. I'll probably put Hugo and put Cody on the bench. Hugo, Salah, Isak.
Wow. Okay.
No.
Right.
No. Actually, I'll take that back. Chiesa, Isak, Salah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just talking about everyone is fit and 100% out healthy.
Everyone is fit.
Yeah.
Everyone's in top.
Top. Yeah, I would.
This is arcade settings. Okay.
Yeah.
This is arcade settings. There are no injuries. 100%.
Yeah.
Chiesa. That's a shout. I have mute because it sounds like you're going through like a wind tunnel. Chiesa, Isak, and Salah on the top. Not gonna lie, that's not a bad front line. What do you think, Lee? You think is that crazy?
No, I like that. That's good. That's still strong, isn't it? Like that with that lineup. I think that's still a strong lineup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Defo, Wirtz, Chiesa, Salah, and Isak in the middle.
I think Chiesa out left would be fantastic because he having the opportunity to be on that that starting platform with possibly three of the best players in the world. Chiesa would immeasurably look at it as a challenge to step up and make something happen. Interesting. Tyler's talking about
Chiesa for me on his day. I'm talking about fit, and he's playing. He has more attributes than Cody.
Absolutely. I think he does. I think at times he can be as creative as a Salah on the right.
Yeah,
as creative on the left. I think he's got incredible balls dribbling skills. He's not lightning fast, but he's not slow either. And his shot, he can shoot it from anywhere on the pitch. He can shoot it from anywhere on the pitch. I would love to see that lineup given a chance. I would love to see any of these lineups be given a chance just to see how they work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know we spoke on this before yesterday, and it was why I was emphasizing it. The games we have on store for our team is not an easy run. It's not an easy run. I know that Burnley isn't exactly a Premier League powerhouse, but they are still. Turf Moor is still a formidable place to go and play, and there's nothing more that any of these teams would like than to knock us off our perch. For some, winning against Liverpool could be the best win of their season. You know, as in like for some teams, they'll put everything into beating us because they know that the chances are they're going to be close to, if not in relegation. Beating us could be at least a feather in their cap, basically. But we have Burnley away, Atletico Madrid at home, then we have Everton at home, then we have Southampton at home in the League Cup, and then we have Crystal Palace away. I know Pops has no scared business when it comes to going to Selhurst Park, but all the same, Crystal Palace has played us well there in the last couple of years. When do you see Isak as a starter for this team? We'll start with you, Lee. When do you see Isak as a starter?
The Atletico Madrid game. I think Hugo will start the Burnley game, but then Isak will start against Atletico Madrid in the midweek between that and between the Burnley and Everton match.
All right, and I have a follow up then, and everyone, tell me in the chat if you will, please. If you do me the pleasure of putting in the game you think Isak will be Isak's first start. Tell me which game you think Isak's first start will be. Lee is saying Atletico Madrid, which is 3 weeks away from now, I think, right? It is the 17th is going to be that date. So a little over 2 weeks, actually. Red for Life says Chelsea in October. I think Pops is talking about the Selhurst comment. Lee WizKid says Everton. So that would be right towards the 20th, because there's only a 3-day turnover from the Prem game from our game against Everton, excuse me, at Anfield. I think every pitch in the. Here's where I disagree with Pops. Maybe Pops has a different perspective, but I think any grounds in the Premier League is a difficult place to go to win. I think that every home field is an advantage for that home team. It's the reason why we lost so many, either lost or even drew on the road to teams on paper we should absolutely obliterate. Absolutely obliterate. But going to their grounds as opposed to playing against them at Anfield can be sometimes two different things in itself. I respect that much. I respect that much. That's why I put that going to Turf Moor or going to Selhurst or going to St. James Park. As much as we should beat these teams, as much as our records show that we do beat these teams, more so than not, it's still tough to play at any team's home grounds. Because one, we have a target on our back. Two, we're the champions. Three, teams tend to try to step up when they play against us. When they do step up to play against us, they have the support of the home crowd behind them as well that can inspire sometimes inspirational play. That alone is why I say don't underestimate any team on the road. That's what at least my perspective is, why I put so much emphasis on when we do play away, and why I do recognize the fact that there were games. What was it? Was it the Bournemouth game? What game was? I think it was the Bournemouth game. Back when Salah missed the penalty kicks there, or missed the penalty kick there. I think it was the Bournemouth game, or when we lost to Watford on the road. You think we should lose to Watford, even after we won, even after we've pretty much wrapped up the league and we're in party mode or whatever?
Not really, no.
No, but yet we lost.
Yeah,
because every ground has a certain amount of allure or a certain amount of prestige or just pride that goes into it. We nearly lost to Luton Town. You might not think it's hard. It's a hard place to go, but Luton Town's not an easy place to go because it's not lavish dressing rooms, and it's not and the pitch is a little bit narrower, and the crowd is a little bit more on top of you. Certain settings are just it's just dynamically enough that it can make a difference. It can get psychologically into your playing style, being it's not the normal settings that you play in. That's my perspective, at least. Pops has his own perspective. There's not many tough places to play in the Premier League, except for maybe the Etihad and the Emirates or something, I guess. But I look at it as any place on the road is a tough place, because especially if you go in with the attitude of thinking this is a cakewalk. You know what I mean? You go into it thinking, Oh, we're not. We're only playing Sunderland today. It should be a walk in the park. We only play Southampton today. It should be a walk in the park. All right. But yeah. I like how. See, I'm Mr. Terrific, but the guy I said is Superman is just leaving me out to dry here, not helping me out. Just all quiet. You can ad lib a little something in there, Lee.
Yeah, about I don't know about the international break. Be watching the internationals featuring our main players to see that they're all right and that. Got a 2-week break now, haven't we, to relax before the madness starts again. But man, it's only 1.5. It's bloody Wednesday already now, isn't it? Like, it's only a week and a half before Burnley. But I'm looking forward to it anyway because it's done now. The transfer window's over, and we can forget about that and just get on with the games. The players and the manager and the squad know now that that's the squad for the season. So they've got to get busy, haven't they, making sure that their spot's secure.
Mm-hmm. I'll agree with that completely. We can finally put all of this behind us. Now that we know who are the players that are going to be, called on to play, whether starter, whether it's support, whether it's as a fill-in starter. We can put that all behind us now. Finally, focus on how we put it all together, how we put this team together, and how we make them really be controlled. Because I know a lot of people don't see it as this is what I was going to ask. I know a lot of people don't see it as they don't see it as a done project. They see it as a work in progress. Burnley, Liverpool, right? Ekitike starts, right? That's what you're saying? Mm-hmm. Ekitike scores a hat trick. Are you starting Isak in that Atletico Madrid game in the Champions League?
Simple. No.
If
it's good hat trick, you got to go with the full player.
You go with the hot hand, right? Or the hot foot, if you want to put it that way.
We do. This is what I'm saying. This is why people I hate some fans, even our fans, because they do like I said, for instance, I love Joey's my favorite player, but if he ain't playing good enough, then he's got to be benched. You got to go. This is the squad, and the same. It doesn't matter your body of work. Yes, like for instance, Mo's been great for us, legend, etc. But listen, if you're having stinkers and say, oh God, we haven't really got anything on the bench. Let's just say Kaiser's on the right, and he plays out of his skin, then he has to start. I just don't like us just being because this is the problem, and it's too pragmatic, and players get too comfortable, and then when we need them, the performance lessens. So, listen, the squad is there to be used, and competition with players. No matter how much body of work, if a player steps in and he does his job, he starts. Pretty simple as that. I don't care who the name is, and that's how it should be. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Right. So, Lee, I won't even go as far as a hat trick. Let's just say he gets a brace. He gets 2 goals against Burnley. We win 2-0. You still saying that Ekitike 3 days later, Champions League, you'll have to come off the bench?
Possibly, yeah. I'd like to see Hugo start the Burnley one just to because he's been on a decent run. and then maybe bring Alex in for the midweek game in the Champions League against Madrid to give him his first start. And then whatever the boss thinks after those 2 games, maybe. Because I think he'll be reasonably fit when he comes back. He'll do a bit of stuff with the international team, but I think he'll have kept himself fit. He only missed 2 games.
I think he could. He's more, especially since Ekitike. We've been starting Ekitike, and Ekitike is quote unquote not 90 minutes fit himself. So we're basically saying, as we've been trying to work Ekitike into being 90 minutes fit for the Premier League, finally, when we're going to get him to being 90 minutes fit for the Premier League, we're going to say, hey, there's the bench. We don't need your 90 minutes anymore. We're going to give him the Isak. Or try our best to get him 90 minutes fit.
Hey, we've got a lot of players now fighting for a few places, haven't we? So, I mean, the recent additions and the way things have gone lately, it's just made us a lot stronger, hasn't it? And we're looking at all the players in the squad now to shape up and show their mettle, aren't they? Because they're all being judged.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm reasonably confident they can all do a good job this season. All the players we've got, there's none of them that I feel particularly, I don't believe in him, or I hope he doesn't play. I've got faith in all of them.
Okay. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, what it all comes down to is this trophy pretty much. But all the same. And there will be a date set for Isak to start, and that will be determined by the staff. He 22 starts. Until then, Hugo, number 22. I got you. Our number 22, Hugo starts until then, and then Isak will get the nod in his opinion, in Pop's opinion. Okay. Red for Life likes your style, by the way. Delante likes your style. Lee Isak. I'm adopting you to Isak apparently. But Lee Wizkid says, let Isak come on for the 20. He's done nothing for us. Nilante is asking a question to Pops.
Ooh.
St. James Park or Goodison. I got you. I understand what you mean by that then. Ekitike is a quality player, but there's not a snowball chance in HE double hockey sticks. He'd be starting if we got Isak when we first bid for him. That's a good shout, Tom. It's a real good shout. If we had gotten him for that 110 million pound bid, we probably would not be having this question of Ekitike having the hot hand and starting.
Yeah, 100%. Ekitike would be someone else as a reserve striker, or whoever that may be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's Newcastle's fault, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They did. That's their own problem. They could have been stingy. They could have said, "Yo," and we would have left Hugo Ekitike to them. Yeah. So that's their loss, not our problem. Not our game.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I've noticed with the signings, which we bought signings and first.
Watch out, Superman. The kryptonite's out there.
Yawning past myself tonight. Got a lot of yawns tonight. Just no offense to anybody, it's just me, and I'm in that tired zone where you yawn a lot.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say because sounded the back signal came in.
Yeah, we had Bigfoot or a Yeti in the back.
Sorry, apologies, Lee, apologies. But no, all I was going to say was that the 6 signings we've made, the top 13 players. If you think about it, I've been studying all these guys are 25 and under. So it really foolproofs the future of the club. And this is when Mo and I know different decisions older than when Mo and VVD goes. So it's not even just the buying, the quality of the players, it's the age as well. So you can see what Hughes, Slot, and they're doing. They're building a team not for just now, but for the future as well, which is it's good business. They've really done their studying. Of course, no play is guaranteed. Every play you go in, but yeah. So you have to notice these things. 25 and under is very, it's very smart, good business, regardless.
Do you have when it comes to Wirtz's play? Are you concerned, or do you think it's just a matter of time before he kicks in? I saw a lot of people put him as their player of the year. Actually, his potty, I guess, his pot y,
or the player of the year.
Of the year.
Oh, the initials, player of the year. Yeah, Potwai. Yeah, I got it. Okay. But a party, like, huh? What's party? Exactly. Yeah. Look, with every signing, like I said, I'm not going to say what I said about Wirtz as much as a great player because I think the chat won't like it. But what I will say is that every time, like with there's players before that, you give them time and they'd be classified as duds, rubbish. So look, his first two and a half games, he's not been great. If we analyze the game, second half, I think about after 55 minutes, he kind of got more involved in the game in the pocket, but there's still a lot to go. So yeah, look, whatever happens this season happens with Wirtz. We just have to leave it as that, but next season we'll expect, regardless, next season we'll expect him to see more of him. But again, it's hard. The price tag, people would say after January, you see the best, but it's difficult because Casido and definitely Enzo, the first season's what flops, or even Enzo a little bit more season and a half, and now they picked up.
Yeah, Enzo was a major flop.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, both of them had poor seasons, flop seasons. But
I think Casido and Enzo was a flop. Unfortunately. Yeah.
But because of the positions they are, again, that's hard. Attacking midfielder, and he's one of the most valuable players. He's one of the world's best. So if he has a poor season, it's a lot of people. He's going to get criticism, and it is what it is. So now it's not the time, but you hopefully by near. I mean, again, before then, hopefully by Christmas time, January, we have more knowledge of the Premiership. He'll be up to pace, and then hopefully we can see him really his magic. But I just want even if he doesn't score in the next 5-6 games, as long as the performances are better, that's what I want to see. But again, it's a new environment, it's a new country, and him and Hugo, they've seen them, and it's really got to them. They're like, whoa, it's been a rush of wind. The Premiership is none other like it, fast paced, hard, and they felt it. So acclimatized, but in the second half of the season, I want him to stand up. So right now, it's not, but we just have to give him time to integrate, and let's just see what happens.
Okay. Wirtz is just getting used to the physical aspect of the league. Plus, he's dropping too deep to get the ball. Okay.
Good point, Tom.
Some points, Tom, with some good analysis. I don't know. He's trying to stay awake by talking about movies. I take it. I don't know. What
Oh no, it was the Yeti. Someone said I sounded like a Yeti when I yawned. It was Armchair, I think. So I was just messing around saying I've got an album called Yeti, and it is a good album actually.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Sort of had this band is developing their style, like German band from the late 60s, early 70s. Good stuff. Good stuff.
I would say I would.
You know what makes me laugh
so-
about the Yeti? There's loads of different names in Russia because it's so vast. There's a few different ones, but the one like in the Caucasus is called the Menk, Menk. It just tickled me, yeah, because the word Menk was like a skit when I was a kid, because it was like short for Mencap. You know what I mean? Like mentally disabled. Kids would say, "You're a Menk, you," if you did something daft.
No, I thought it was just because it was Manchester.
Exactly.
The Russian Menk, mate, the Russian Bigfoot.
I made the connection now. That connection, yeah. You're a Mank for that reason.
The best name ever is the abominable snowman, which is like, you know, from Tibet, like further east than that, isn't it? The abominable snowman. What a great name.
You're going to say something, Nolante, before I bring up this comment. Remember?
Oh yes, I was going to say.
It's a shame that you can't play the album, the German album, because there'll be copyright information. Yeah.
Wait. Say it one more time because your microphone's a little bit muffled.
No, I was just saying about Lee's talking about the album, the German band. So I was just saying it's a shame you can't play it for the masses because otherwise there'll be a copyright infringement.
Oh, yeah. What a shame. What a shame. Lee Wizkid is saying, for other Lancashire teams, we are the biggest. They're the nearest big rival. So when Burnley are in the Prem, we are the team to beat. Okay, I mean, that's a good shout. What are the other teams in that region? The other teams that have the ability to play in the Prem, not talking about like some 4th division or something like that.
Oh, you've got Preston, Blackburn.
Okay.
Preston, Blackburn are 2.
Blackburn, is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Preston. Can't think of the other team.
Yeah, I can't think. Do you know of any other teams, Lee?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's a solid no. As a pass on that one, I guess. Okay. Let me see if I can Google some.
Are you asking how many Northwest clubs have won it?
I'm trying to think of. I don't think any of these teams are teams I would know of. Bamber Bridge, Dalton United, Coppool United. What is that? EUXTON. Where's that? Euxton Villa, right? Charnock Richard. I don't know any of these teams. Garstang Rez. Is that a team?
Not heard of them.
None of us. I don't know where you
Are these old names of teams before they change their names or something?
This is teams in West Lancashire, right? So the West Lancashire League Premier Division includes teams like Astley, Buckshaw United, Blackpool, and Eagly.
Well, our first games when Liverpool first started, our first games were it was the Lancashire League. Liverpool was part of Lancashire all them years ago, 100 and odd years ago. It's not part of Lancashire anymore. It's its own place, Merseyside, but it was part of Lancashire once. So when the football started, like, it was like the Lancashire part of it that we played in, instead of going down to London or something, like we played more local teams. And then it should develop from there.
Okay. Yeah. Fleetwood Moor Celtic. Hurst Green. Poulton. 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 Tempest United. All right. Whitehaven. All right. Interesting. Some of us are just looking to be a Fleetwood Ranger or maybe Fleetwood Town. Maybe that's where Fleetwood Mac is from. Is that where they're from? From their roots, maybe? No?
Yeah, Fleetwood. Yeah, probably. A lot of people have the name of somewhere, like it's named after it. Like, I don't think he is from Fleetwood, Mick Fleetwood, but once upon a time he could have been. It's not far from here, Fleetwood.
Okay. All right. But yeah, Burnley, Bamber Bridge, Blackburn Rovers, Blackpool, as mentioned earlier, and Burscough. Burscough? How do you pronounce it?
Burscough. Yeah, that's close to here, Burscough. That's very close to here. Burscough. Okay. Very quick drive.
Okay. There's some Lancashire. All right. Those would be some teams that would be regional teams that would look at Liverpool as someone they'd like to beat for sure. He says no. The drummer was called Mick Fleetwood. Not sure who Mac was. Okay. All right. I don't know. Maybe it was McAllister. Fleetwood Town and Accrington. Yeah, Stanley. That's right. And Morecambe, right? We played Accrington. That was the milk team, right?
Yeah, Accrington with the milk team. Yeah, Accrington Stanley. Who were they? Yeah. Marine, that's by me. That's not far from me, Marine. I used to go when I was a kid to watch, you could see, Liverpool reserves, whatever, people on the way back from injuries making an appearance at College Road. Marine.
See, look at that. You mentioned one little region of the island known as England, and all of a sudden people are just dropping crazy names out there. Crazy names included into that list. More than you probably thought. There you have it.
Well, the comedian Eric Morecambe, his name wasn't Morecambe, but he was from Morecambe, so he gave himself the name of the town. A bit like in The Godfather, where he calls them. He gives them the name of the town, doesn't he? What's the name of the town that they come from in The Godfather?
Oh yeah, Corleone. Their name wasn't Corleone.
That's it. Yeah. Their name wasn't Corleone. Was the name of the town, but they took it as their name. It wasn't their name, was it? Just took the name of the town.
Represent. I forget what their original name was, but it wasn't Corleone. Yeah, Lancaster City FC. Very interesting.
Just say to Lee Wiz, kids, Marine, their manager, Rowley Howard, used to clean Kenny's windows. And I don't know if that's what got him the Marine job, just the notoriety of being Kenny Dalglish's window cleaner. Okay. He was the manager of Marine when I was a kid in the late 80s.
Whatever you can do, whatever you got to do to patch your CV, do what you got to do.
Kenny's window cleaner.
So, he's like, so, what was his last name? What was his last name again?
Howard, Rowley Howard. Rowley as in Roly Poly, and then Howard.
Mr. Howard, or can I call you Rowley? What is your claim to fame? Well, I used to do Kenny's windows. I used to do King Candy's windows. Oh, you're hired. You're hired. We got to put you on as the sorry, head manager. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I guess stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. We're at the 2-hour mark, people. A lot of what we talked about, I would say, if anything, I'm sure there were parts of this episode where you're like, you're crazy. Oh, you're out of your mind to have that. Well, if I am, or if I was, or if Lee was, or if Nolante was, do say it respectfully in the comments, sensibly, with a distinguished manner about yourself. So since we're talking about superheroes, as a distinguished gentleman or gentle lady, okay, please do put your comment in there and tell us what you think about what's going to be this lineup. What this lineup's going to look like. What this lineup is going. When we're going to see Isak even in this lineup. I mean, like, the obvious choice for me is the 4-2-3-1, but I mean, obviously, I am more partial to the 4-2-4/4-4-2. So I would just say, let's all begin to get used to the idea that these players that you see on the screen are going to become hopefully household names in goal celebrations and wins that are associated to our club. Is there anything you'd like to say to people, Lee, Mr. Kent, before we bounce?
Just thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for your contributions. Got a little bit of a wait now, haven't we, till we get back in action? But I'm eagerly awaiting it with all the new players we have, and everything's just looking good at the moment. Just hope it continues and we don't have any disruption of any kind, like including injuries this international break. And can't wait to get back to it. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Nolante, anything you'd like to say to the people before we allow for them to do their thing, which is be good Reds on other channels, maybe?
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, behave yourselves wherever you are, wherever streams are non-Liverpool. Just behave yourselves. Don't upset the rivals. Don't use any profound words like 1-0 and Isak and champions. Please, beware of your swearing. Please, we're PG. We're PG. We're a respectful club, yeah?
There you go.
I'll just say one last thing quickly.
Do it.
Just briefly. Look, I know people will love him, and I get it as a football player, but Luis Suarez is a complete scumbag. End of.
Yeah.
Complete. I'm embarrassed the guy played for his club. I don't care how good he is.
Bet you're not
What
surprised.
a complete scumbag. No, really, to be honest, I thought you kind of learned, but some people just don't grow up.
No.
But
No.
yeah.
No, they don't. They actually, if anything, he looks more measured in his ways, tell you the truth, than learning from his mistakes.
Is this going to cost him, do you think, being into Miami? Somebody said that it might, like, an incident this series might cost him his time, his contract.
He's going to be suspended.
Yeah. I doubt you. No, they won't terminate his contract.
They won't terminate his contract. No, they're not going to do that far. But they will.
Yeah,
they will.
Yeah, suspend.
He'll be suspended from MLS. He'll definitely be suspended. I think it is. I wanted to say too. I think it is Julier's. Julier. What? It's his birthday.
No. Oh, who's that? Whose birthday?
Isn't it his birthday today?
Julier?
Gerard Houllier?
Could be. What would he have been today? About 75, 77?
Yeah. Obviously, he's no longer with us, but But it would have been today was his birthday, or would have been his birthday.
That game was good, wasn't it? When he come back from his heart attack and we playing Capello's Roma.
Oh, I remember that. Yes,
Yeah, the second goal, the Heskey got the second goal, and he got up dead high for the header. He got up like outrageously high, as high as I've seen anyone get for a header. It was dead memorable. I mean, it was a tough fought match, but that was a great goal, that header.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Gerard and Julian. He's the one from when we came back from our ban, got us back to being a fair team in Europe.
Yeah.
By the way, on this day in 1947, the late great Gerard Houllier was born in France. The French led LFC 307 times from 1998 to 2004 and lifted the UEFA Cup, the League Cup twice, and the FA Cup as Reds boss. Rest in peace. You'll never walk alone.
He's been 78 then, eh? 78, Gerard. Yeah, he gave us our identity back in Europe, and he made us a good team in England again. Okay, we didn't win the title, but we were there again, and we were bastard to beat under him. We won 3 years in a row at Old Trafford, didn't we? Which was great when Murphy scored the winner every time, 3 years in a row. Won a free kick, the first one. Then, like a little chip he was played in, and the last one was a penalty. 3 years in a row, he got the winner at Castle Grayskull, Murphy under Houllier. Great stuff.
Great stuff. Great. Was definitely a great coach too. Great coach. Owen Lee saying was our first foreign manager. Great bloke. Definitely so. Well, people, we are going to have a episode put together for you tomorrow. I have a bunch of good episodes actually lined up for us. So I'm going to work out with the boys when they'll be available, and so we can figure out the dates to schedule one for, because they're gonna be good ones. And like do like a ranking show on like the summer window. Maybe do an episode or two about maybe like maybe get involved in Syria, maybe get involved in some other aspects of the news as well, obviously. But more so than not, it is you that make this show go, and I appreciate that you guys have been here with us today. So I hope that you'll with us tomorrow. Big up to each and every one of you. Respect and love. Please do, if you can, remember what I did say in the very beginning of the show. It really does matter. Each one of us represents Liverpool the same way we're just talking about. Unfortunately, Luis Suarez, and his actions in Inter Miami, he'll forever be linked with Liverpool because he's a former Red, So our actions carry volumes, whether we're players, whether we're part of the club, backroom staff, whether we're just fans of the game. We represent this badge right here. Make sure you see it. So, yeah, just be better, and it's not that difficult when you expect the best. When you expect your club to be the best, you should be the best as well. So, anyways, big up to each and every one of you that's already doing that. A lot of you, the OGs, are already doing that already. Just continue doing that if you are, and if not, hey, have that Michael Jackson man in the mirror moment, and we move. All right, brothers and sisters, great show, and appreciate the fact that you're a part of it. Thank you to the panel, Lee. Thank you to Nalante, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, or actually it'll be a little bit earlier tomorrow, but same place, all the same. And we'll see you soon. Up the Reds, as always.